That night, the story did not begin with a miracle. It began with a moment so cold and merciless that, had anyone arrived just a few minutes later, a small life might have disappeared forever. Inside a car repair yard on the outskirts of Kursk, surrounded by the heavy smell of oil and the harsh clang of metal, a small dog dragged herself in. Not on all fours like a healthy animal, but pulling her body forward with her front legs while her hind legs lay lifeless behind her. Every inch she moved looked like it tore through her with pain. And yet, she kept going. Kept crawling. Kept trying to reach the people inside. Perhaps somewhere in her fading memory, humans had once meant safety. Meant help. Meant survival. But this time, it was different. The elderly owner of the shop showed no sympathy. He stepped outside, glanced at the broken animal with a cold, dismissive look, and forced her back out beyond the gate. Then he gave a clear order to his workers: don't let her in again. If she comes back, he'll kill her with a shovel. The metal gate slammed shut. Heavy. Final. And yet, the dog did not leave. Again and again, she tried to squeeze herself under the gate, as if she believed that behind it there were still real people, someone who would see her, help her, save her. There was nowhere else to go. Only a busy road and an empty industrial zone stretched around her. No shelter. No second chance. One of the workers could not bear it any longer. Quietly, he went outside, laid down a piece of cardboard, and covered her with his old pants to keep her warm. Then he made a phone call to someone he knew, hoping help might still be possible. That call eventually reached us. When I heard what had happened, I felt my heart sink. Not because it was the first time I'd heard such a story, but because I was exhausted. We were overwhelmed. No space left in shelters. No beds in clinics. And almost no money. But time doesn't wait for hesitation. There were less than 30 minutes before the shop closed. If the owner came back and found her still there, the outcome would be unthinkable. I called a woman nearby and begged her to at least take the dog to a clinic. I promised to cover everything: the taxi, the treatment, whatever it cost. Her answer stunned me. No. I can't. I need to go home and eat. That was it. On one side, a life hanging by a thread. On the other, a meal. At that moment, I understood. This was now entirely my responsibility. Fortunately, 2 of my teammates arrived just in time. By pure chance, they were in the area and rushed over immediately. When they found her, she was still breathing weakly, but alive. What shocked us most was this: even in that condition, she still trusted people. She pressed her face into their hands, letting out soft whimpers, as if quietly begging to be saved. Within 30 minutes, she was at the clinic. But what the veterinarians discovered made the story even more heartbreaking. There were fresh catheter marks on her legs. A surgical incision on her abdomen. A brand new tag in her ear. It was clear she had recently been through a sterilization procedure at an animal control facility. And just days after being released, she had been hit by a car. We later learned that on the day she was released, she didn't want to leave the vehicle. Perhaps she felt safe there. Perhaps she knew, in some instinctive way, that the outside world was not ready for her. But no one noticed. And then, the accident happened. The diagnosis was devastating: a spinal fracture. There was only one chance to save her: an urgent surgery in a specialized clinic in Moscow. We had no time to lose. That very night, a car sped down the highway toward the capital, carrying with it the fragile hope of a broken life. The surgery lasted for hours. None of us slept. No one knew if she would survive, especially after having undergone anesthesia so recently. Then, around midday, the phone rang. It was successful. Just 2 words. But enough to release everything we had been holding in. The doctors said there was hope. At the very least, she might regain some form of mobility through spinal reflex walking. And then, something incredible happened shortly after waking up. She tried to move her legs. It was only a tiny movement. But to us, it was a miracle. We named her Lotta. In the days that followed, Lotta recovered faster than we had dared to hope. She began eating. She began looking at people differently, not with fear, but with something softer. Something like trust. Or maybe even hope. One thing became clear: Lotta had once been someone's dog. She was too gentle. Too trusting. Even after everything she had been through, she still reached out for human connection. And perhaps the most painful part of all was not her injuries, but the question that lingered: how could a creature like this end up here? Today, Lotta is still fighting. The road ahead is long and uncertain. But this time, she is not alone. And sometimes, that alone is enough for life to keep going.